What's up, everyone? Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to get into this FS1 lawsuit. Very scathing, a big bombshell. But before we do that, I want you guys to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I highly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Now, this FS1 lawsuit, man, this happened this week, and I think it was Friday or just a few days ago, a couple of days ago. So excuse me if I'm a little bit late to the party, but I absolutely had to cover this. We talking about Skip Bayless, a man I've watched for many years. Skip Bayless, Lil Wiener ass, out here supposedly, allegedly offering people $1.5 million for sex. For real? Shannon Sharpe, Emmanuel Ocho, Charlie Dixon, one of the execs, a name you don't really hear too much because he's behind the scenes. He's one of the big execs. But haven't we heard this story? Haven't we seen this story before? We've seen this play out where execs, have the pretty little interns, and somehow they usually get in their panties. They're young and impressionable, so they're able to be some service when needed. And also, on the other hand, they're getting a deal as well. They're getting experience, and they're also getting opportunities that they don't deserve. So that puts them in a precarious position when people do see them in a certain position, and they're able to put their ideas out there as a non-professional or as a non-factor, really. But from the center of this lawsuit is Joy Taylor. I don't want to forget that person. She is definitely in there. She's in the center. How I called this, and I knew it was a crock of from like the moment I started to like read this, because you don't really have to get far. This is a really very well put together filing right here of a lawsuit. Every detail. I mean, this lady, she obviously didn't do this herself. Most people are going to the court and putting shit in there themselves. And some people do have help of a lawyer, but this is very extensive. What she put in there, people's job description, how much they making. She had dates to it, exactly what you want when you want to fill out a lawsuit. But where she failed, I believe, and where I believe it's a complete money grab and it's a crock of shit, as I mentioned, it's too extensive, too much detail. You're hurting yourself. Did this really happen? Or are these your thoughts and emotions and feelings? Let's go ahead and get into Exhibit B here, down on line 16, I believe it is, or 19, where it says, Mr. Dixon gives Mrs. Taylor undisputed as a reward for having sex with him. Let's go ahead and read what Nasheen Faraji, that's the lady who is accusing all these people of all these mishaps. There's also there's also allegations of Emmanuel Acho smashing Joy Taylor's guts. And before I want to get any of this out and continue this video, all of this is alleged, but from this lady's perspective, it's true. So we're going to read what's exactly in the report, but from my viewpoint and how I'm putting it out there, it's alleged. So where I want to get into this and where it gets a little bit dicey, where I automatically knew where it was too much, it just didn't make sense for me. It really didn't make sense for me. So we're going to look into this little paragraph here. Mr. Dixon gives Miss Taylor, Joy Taylor, from Undisputed as a reward for having sex with him. And we're going to look at Exhibit B down here on line 20. And it says, in approximately May of 2016, Miss Taylor asked Miss Faraji to meet for a drink in Santa Monica. So the way this is already displayed, as you can tell, you already know this isn't her writing it. This is somebody completely else. I'm assuming her lawyer, team of lawyers. Continue. When Miss Faraji arrived, she found Miss Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports exec, vice president of content, Mr. Dixon. As executive vice president, Mr. Dixon is responsible for overseeing all content and production on FS1. So FS1, this Miss Faraji lady, she's claiming that, oh, just to get you caught up a little bit, she was a hairstylist for Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, and the whole bunch at FS1 in the past several years. And she's claiming that during this time she would befriend these people. These people are in her workspace. These are co-workers. They going out to have drinks, and obviously this is a situation of where they had a drink. She knows Skip, she knows Shannon, she knows just the whole bunch. Everybody who you see on FS1, I'm sure she touched their head in some form or fashion, or she works with a certain set of people. But in those companies, in those small spaces, they all know each other. To continue down to 21, when Mr. Dixon went to buy them another round of spicy margaritas, so this is Faraji and this is Joy Taylor sitting at the hotel having drinks wherever they are. I believe it was the hotel. Miss Faraji asked who he was. Miss Taylor responded that he was just a friend. Why would she say he was just a friend? You need to say that's the big boss. Following that night, whenever Miss Faraji would meet with Miss Taylor for drinks or food, Mr. Dixon would either arrive with Miss Taylor or show up later in the night and leave with Miss Taylor. So that's an accusation, that's assumption on your part. What are you saying? Are you you're insinuating, this isn't factual. And you put her, this is sullying her name to an extent. Unless you better be able to back this up. But ultimately she was divorced, and for, some odd reasons, which I don't know specifically, but maybe this played into it. He would always buy rounds of drinks and or food. From their body language, Miss Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping with each other. And although the concerned Miss Faraji, as she knew Miss Taylor was recently married, Miss Faraji kept her opinions to herself. Now, damn well she did not do that. That's all lies right there. That's all lies. You suspected? How dare you put this in there? How dare you put this in there? That's how I knew it's a crock of shit. You're done right there. I don't need to read anymore. The rest is kind of the cherry on top. It's all entertaining. But from there, how this is worded and how you're suspected and how you're assuming because one person is with another, they're automatically sleeping with each other. Girl, what is you doing? Really? So a lot of assumptions and accusations on her part, which makes her very, very hard to believe. But as we go further, it really gets interesting. And we're looking at 22 right here. In approximately June 2016, while at work, Miss Faraji noticed Mr. Dixon in the elevator. Surprised by his coincidence, Miss Faraji found Miss Taylor and told her excitedly, the guy who always buys us drinks was in the elevator. Miss Taylor quickly silenced Miss Faraji, explaining who he was. Miss Faraji became alarmed and warned Miss Taylor that such a relationship was unsafe. Miss Taylor told her not to worry about it. Miss Faraji continued to be friends with Miss Taylor, but tried to distance herself as she considered the situation dangerous as well as morally wrong, as Miss Taylor and Mr. Dixon were both married. Really reads as a storybook, doesn't it? I'm done. Mic drop right there. Do I really need to say more? I'm reading this as a story. I mean, this is very eloquently put. And I don't think she's going to win, to be honest. There's a lot of he said, she said. This shit happened many years ago. And this is how you really want to start the new year off, 2025. Shannon Sharp says he has nothing to do with it. You kind of do, bro. You were working in the prime, you were in your heyday while she's alleging all this shit went down, bro. So you kind of do. If this shit went to trial, bro, you gonna be a witness. Believe that, Shay Shay. But there's obviously more to the story. This is a 42-page report. We're not going to get into all of it. She alleged her butt was grabbed by Charlie Dixon. Joy Taylor, how she was discriminated with Joy Taylor, and how Joy Taylor allegedly told her, oh, get over it. Like, who is doing all this to the stylists and how you look? Have y'all seen her? I mean, you ain't nothing to write home about. Seriously, yeah, but I'm sure he could do better. But the center of all this is Joy Taylor, as Jason Whitlock said. Those big cans and that peanut butter skin. That boy had to run away. This reads as a storybook, and I don't really put too much merit behind this shit. It's a money grab. She'll get paid either way. But you didn't sully the names of a lot of people allegedly. But we'll see. We'll see how this shapes out. I also wanted to bring attention to the charges she brings. Many charges. 14 charges where she's bringing. And I'm trying to figure out, did these all happen all at once? Or did these happen over time? And if they did happen over time, how come nothing was said prior? Failure to pay minimum wages, failure to pay overtime wages, failure to reimburse business expenses, failure to pay all wages upon separation, unfair, lawful, and fraudulent business practices, sexual battery, hostile work environment for sex, hostile work environment for race. She's covering all bases right here. And failure to prevent harassment. And she is actually suing. So this Superior Court of the State of California, Los Angeles, very, very liberal, Nushin Faraji, individually. So no one else, actually. But I believe that that's a lie, because there's no absolute way attorneys for plaintiff, okay, individually. Attorneys for plaintiffs, okay. So I'm just looking at that. Did she have an attorney or not on behalf of others? She definitely didn't. It says individually. Okay, so I'm assuming that's her, but she definitely didn't write this shit individually. And she is suing Fox Corporation, Delaware Corporation, Fox Sports Holdings. She's suing the whole gamut. Fox Sports 2, Fox Sports, Charlie Dixon, Skip Bayless, George. She's literally suing everyone. She's suing everyone. No, Shannon, you were safe, but you're gonna be caught. I mean, if this, like I said, if this go to court, you will be caught, bruh. Hashtag don't believe all women until the truth has settled.